I get these questions a lot. How do I get the toolbar up there, and how do I make it collapsible? How do I show and hide stuff on the screen? How do I make the MIDI explorer come from the left and the MIDI editor come from the bottom? How do I get the mixer to come up with multiple buttons on the side? And how do I overall customize my workspace in Reaper? So I'm answering all these questions today. I'm gonna show you how to get the most out of your toolbars, how to create amazing layouts and be able to save them and recall them at any time. So first, let's start with the basics and work our way up there. Now you may notice all these extra icons I have on my screen, and I'm happy to announce that I finally got to release a bunch of icons that I've been doing since January this year. Been working on this for so long, and finally I can release them. It's over 600 toolbar icons and 300 track icons. I'm very proud of them. I'm running a sale where you can get it for $5 off, so if you want some really cool icons for yourself, feel free to grab them, and it's an amazing way to support the channel. Now, by default, the only toolbar that you will immediately see in Reaper is this one on the top left. And in here, you can right-click any empty space and you will see multiple options. If you go to Switch Toolbars, you will notice that you have up to 32 toolbars to choose from. So you can customize all of these with whatever you want. Now, let's customize this toolbar. You will select this option in here. On the left side, you will see the list of actions that this toolbar currently has. You can click and drag any of the actions to move the position. And as you move it, you will see that it also happens in this preview window over here. One thing they recently added in Reaper is that you can hold Shift and then click from here to here, and it will select all of these. You can copy them, cut them, or even delete them. And it's very nice. We used to not be able to do this. You had to do it one by one and it was a pain. Now, all of the changes are here, but you won't see it in here unless you hit apply. And this is a good way to really experiment with how this looks before you commit to it. So feel free to go crazy. And if you don't like the changes, just click on cancel. So if we hit apply right now, you will see that I just move all of these icons over here. Now, if you want to add an action, it's pretty simple. Just click on add, and then the actions menu is going to appear. And in here, you're going to search for the action. For example, maybe we want to have the show performance meter window in our toolbar, which is very handy to have. And I'm going to click on it and then press select. Now it's going to appear over here and you will see it highlighted in here. In this case, I would like to have a separator to separate it from this group of icons. Right now, this is a text icon and I want to use an icon. So all you need to do is just right click on it and set icon. And in here, this window is going to show up and I'm going to search for an icon. In this case, this one works. So I'm just going to click on that. You will see immediately change in here. And if we hit apply, you will see that our icon is over here. And every time you press it, it's going to bring the performance meter over here. Very useful to have in here, this menu. Now, another really useful action to have is the toggle fits item lanes. And maybe this one. Yeah. Now we can quickly turn this track into fits lane by just clicking this icon and put it back to normal by clicking this icon again. Let's add this other one, show track manager window, which is useful as well. And for this one, I'm going to click on edit and do set tooltip text icon. With this option, you can create a text icon and let's type track manager. And for this one, I'm going to go for the double wide icon, which is very useful as well. So click OK. And now you should have this super wide icon that says track manager, that every time you press it, it's going to bring up the track manager. And yeah, that's how you customize your toolbar. And if you want to tweak another toolbar, you can select it from this menu in here and you will see all of the different toolbars that I showed you earlier are in here. So for example, let's go to toolbar 1 and you will see it's empty and we can fill it with whatever we want. And you can even put a title on it. So for example, maybe I want to use this toolbar for recording. So I want to have just recording stuff in here. So maybe we want the different record modes in here. I can select all of them and there we go. But how do we use this toolbar 1 in our setup? That's what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to press OK to leave this menu. And now I can right click this toolbar and you will see open toolbar. And we're going to search for the toolbar that we just made and it's going to open it in this way. So you may wonder how is this useful? It's just a floating window. Well, it might be useful if you want it floated like this, but if you want it always available, I suggest you do this. So right click this one and select position toolbar. You can either do at main toolbar, which is the one on the top left, at top of the main window, or in toolbar Docker. Let's do at top of the main window, and you will see it's now here at the top. And now it's super convenient to change your record modes right over here, and you can keep adding stuff to this toolbar as you see it fit. Now we had some other options for the position of the toolbar, like floating, which looks like this. It's just the same floating window that we just saw. This is useful for things that you don't always use, but you want to bring up for just a moment and then have all of your actions available in there. And you can of course bring this up with an action. So for example, if you search for toolbar 1 in your actions menu, there's open toolbar 1 at mouse cursor. This is super awesome because now you can do, for example, whenever I press the shortcut O, it's gonna appear the toolbar right at my mouse, and it's always gonna remember the size that you have it on. So if I had it like this, so the next time I bring it up, it's a small window like this. And you can see how that's useful in the case that you're editing, and then you can bring up your editing toolbar with all of your editing actions immediately available over there. Now, the last position that you have is in toolbar Docker, and this is where it gets very interesting. You're able to come up with so much crazy stuff with this. So when you click in toolbar Docker, this is what's gonna happen. You will see it the same kind of window, but there's this little tab in here. This little tab can be moved and snapped to multiple places in Reaper. Just like I showed you where I put it right there at the top menu, I can now put it on the side like this. So my actions are in here, and if I make it bigger, I still see the little tab, which I can click and drag and put it over here if I want. And if I make it a little bigger, you will see this is super cool because it allows me to do stuff like this. So for example, I can put this one on top, and then let's open another one. Toolbar 2, let's do the same thing in toolbar Docker. And in here, we can put it over here. So now I can switch from toolbars using these little tabs in here, or I can put this one on the side, and now I have my recording toolbar in here and my main toolbar over here. Now, one really important thing is that if you want to move this dock to a very tricky position, you had to hold Control or Command on Mac while you click and drag it. So for example, if I don't hold Control or Command, I am not able to put this over here. But if I hold it, now I'm able to put it over here, and you will see this little thing right here. Sometimes it's really tricky. So yeah, that's how I got it side to side. And the same thing can be done with the mixer. So for example, I can put the mixer over here, and then a toolbar right next to the mixer, and then this other toolbar in the other side of the mixer. Now I have the mixer in the middle, this toolbar over here, and this toolbar over here. And maybe let's add more stuff like the FETS browser, because yes, you can not only dock these toolbars, you can dock so many things in Reaper. So for example, the FETS browser, you can right click any empty area and you will see dock a FETS browser in Docker. And the same thing can be done here. I'm gonna click and drag it while holding Command or Control on Windows and put it over here. Now I have 4 things at the bottom of my screen. So this toolbar over here, the FETS browser, which is convenient to have over there, my mixer, and this recording toolbar in here. And that's kind of crazy, right? A lot of things can be docked in Reaper. All you need to do is just right click on them and you will most likely see docking somewhere. So for example, dock track manager in window Docker. Now this can be placed over here. And this is just getting crazy, so let's keep going with this. So right click on this one, dock performance meter, and let's put this something like this. Yeah, video, performance, track manager, toolbar, mixer, media explorer, so many things. Now we may have created the best layout in the world and we want to save it. We don't want to lose all of this progress. That's where screen sets get into play. So if you go to view, and you'll see screen sets over here, Command E or Control E. You will see in the Windows tab, you have 10 different spaces to save different layouts. So for example, if I like this one, I can call it the crazy layout, like this. And now if I back to normal, so close. So we're back to normal. We're gonna open the same screen set menu. And let's save this one as the default menu because we don't always want it so crazy. So the beauty of this is that now you can simply double click this one and it will recall exactly the layout that you had saved. And it's just so amazing because you can go to the default, crazy layout, default, crazy layout. And you can of course use the shortcuts over here, F7 for the crazy layout, F8 for the default. And these ones can also be found in the actions menu. And it's this one, Windows set 1, 2, 3. And I highly suggest setting a single key shortcut like this for all of your screen sets, so it makes it really simple to switch in between them. Now with all this knowledge, you can easily start creating your own layouts. Alright, so it's finally time I get to show you my layouts. And just so you know, this is a work in progress. It's always gonna be a work in progress. I've been adding, removing, and moving things around for a long time, and it's just always changing. But one thing I've learned over the years is that I want to have the best default layout for me. A default that enables me to do most of my work without having to change layout so much, because back then I used to have an editing layout, a recording layout, a mixing layout, a mastering layout, just so many different layouts, and it was just too much for me. But it might work for you. Now this is my default layout and this thing works so well for me. It's as minimal as I can get it. And if I can make it more minimal, I'll do it. And I just want to have as little things on the screen as I try to work. So one strategy I've been doing is that I have these actions that open other toolbars. For example, if I click here, it will reveal a bunch of other actions that I sometimes use and I only want to see it sometimes. And to hide it, I'll click here. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to set all of that up in a minute. And I have the master over here, which is super handy to have. I'm always doing stuff on the mastering chain, so it's good to have all of my mastering stuff in here. And also a nice big meter for everything is always nice to have. And I can of course show and hide the master over there, as well as this toolbar over here. I really like these icons in here. Now on the top left, it's the same thing. I can even hide this top toolbar, so I can make it even more minimal. But most of the times I like it on. And this one opens a track template script that I will talk soon about. I've been using this a lot. And I also have this project notes by SWS that I can open this on the side if I'm writing lyrics or taking note of a project. I can write it in here and it's just so handy to have over here. Just a quick note and I can type like this and I can hide it and it will always be there because it's a project note. Now as for MIDI, let me create a quick MIDI item. I'm going to double click and my MIDI editor is dock at the bottom. I very much like this because I have full control of the range view, but I also have the MIDI editor in here. So I can write my MIDI in here just like normal, and by having it this way I can just select the MIDI item that I want to edit and I can instantly edit and then just change to this and instantly edit that. I did make a video on this that you can check out over here. And another thing I like is having the MIDI Explorer over here. It just makes most sense to me because I can have the long list and long list over here. It just makes more sense to take all of that space for that. And that's pretty much it, I think. With this layout, I'm able to do most of my work just fine. I do have some other layouts that I will show you, but first I'm gonna show you how I did all of these collapsible toolbars, putting the master over here and doing all of that so you can try to replicate it yourself. So let's go back to the default Reaper. And in here, I'm gonna open one of the toolbars. Let's work with toolbar 5. And let's also open toolbar sets like this. So for toolbar sets, I want this to be at top of the main window. So like this. So you can start having actions here at the top, similar to my setup, but I do have the playback at the top. To change this, you can right click, dock transfer position, and put it top of a main window and center it like this. So yeah, that's pretty much how I have it. Let's actually put a bunch of actions in there. So yeah, something like that. Now, our goal is to have an action in here that opens this toolbar right below this toolbar. And the way we do that is by right-clicking the toolbar that you want to hide. And let's go for in toolbar Docker. so we can start moving this. So as I show you, you can move this one by holding Command or Control and placing it over here, yeah, at the top. And then we can make it small, and that's it. That will be your toolbar 6 and your toolbar 5 over here. Now to show and hide this toolbar, we need an action in this top toolbar. So let's customize this one and add open and close toolbar sets. This is the action that we want to use. So as you can see, it's over here. Let's make it into a separator and let's add the same icon that I use, which is down, and it will be something like this one. Yeah, there you go. And here's the magic. Now you can press this to open and close this extra toolbar that you have here at the bottom. So nice, there you go. You now know how to do these collapsible toolbars. And this of course can be done multiple times. Maybe you have another open and close toolbar action in here, and you can make multiple windows that open other windows and so on. Now I'm gonna show you how I did the master on the right side. And this is simple. Just open the mixer, Control or Command M, and right click master track, show in Docker. So we got the mixer mastering here. We're gonna move it to this side and make this panel really small. And there you go. You now have the master over here. And let's make an action to open and close the master. So this will be toggle master track in separate dock window. This is the action that we want, and let's do the same icon that we use. And now we can use this action to show and hide the master track, and this action to do this toolbar over here. It got big because we moved the master over there, but you can put it in the same size, and yeah, we got that. Remember that if you want to save your changes and be able to easily recall it, use the screen set and just save it as a layout once you're happy with the changes, of course. Now let's do the MIDI editor. So I'm gonna double click to open this, and you will see that by default it has a dock, and it might move to a random place like this one, and maybe you like that, but I like it here at the bottom. So I'm gonna move the little tab over here. I'm gonna make it a little bigger like this. And there you go. So you get the idea. It's pretty much just docking stuff, then moving them around and saving them as a layout, and also using actions to open toolbars or close them or show the master track and all of that. There's most likely an action to show and hide things around. Now I do have a couple of other layouts that I sometimes use. I like this one with the mixer. Sometimes I like to change things around and use the mixer, but most of the times I do my mixer in the range view. But this one has the effects browser, the mixer, and a toolbar over here. And as you can see, if I expand this, this is just toolbar 2. So yeah, this one I can move, for example, if I wanted it here, and just make it small like that, and then it just looks like a sidebar with icons, and that's so cool. And having the effects browser over here is pretty convenient because you can easily just add things to any track that you want. And the other layout that I sometimes use, it's pretty much just a piano here at the top, and this one you can get with View, and there's a big piano, virtual MIDI keyboard, this one. And pretty much I just move it there at the top. I had it at the bottom at some point, but I like it here at the top and having it very small. It's because it enables you to use your keyboard as a actual MIDI thing. If you enable this button that says send all keyboard input to BKB, you can use your keyboard as a MIDI keyboard. Let's load a synth, a quick synth, so you can see it. Pretty cool, and I can change my octave by right-clicking where I want the center note. Or I can use my mouse if I want to. And yeah, we've learned a lot today. That's pretty much all you need to know to create your own layouts in Reaper. It's very fun. I very much recommend doing this. It's just so nice having things available and get you working as fast as possible without any friction, because that's what we're looking for. We don't want friction. We don't have to go through menus. We want to have everything as available as possible. So all these things are so cool. And I'm thinking I should make a video about all of my toolbar actions and what they do. I think that'll be interesting. Let me know if you would like to see that. So yeah, check out the essential icons back in the description. I put a lot of work into it. I'm very proud of these icons. I love them, and I think you're gonna love them too. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.